Welcome back to the VR Workshop. In this episode, more unboxing goodies. So yeah, this is going to be another unboxing video with some work afterwards. But this one's a bit different. In here are 3D printed parts in metal. So we were looking at the pegs on the frame and everything's going to be wider. And where the gear pickup is on the engine, our original Ducati pegs we had are just not going to work. There's no way we can get a gear linkage to reach all that way back. So rather than making another botch up of mix up with the Aprilia and Ducati pegs, etc., we designed a 3D set ourselves. And then we shipped them away and we've got them printed in alloy. So this is, the box has just arrived and I'm dying to see how this works. Because if this is as good as we think it is, there's just a whole bunch of other parts in this project we're going to 3D print. Because so we learned something. Always read the label on the box. It was an Amazon delivery and not our parts. But this one definitely is. It's from Claf Crowd in China. So take two. We'll have a look at what all these parts are. So as I was saying, there is pegs in here and also nakaducts in stainless because I just wanted to understand what they looked like. Oh, and we'll maybe try that. Wow. Wow. That I did not expect. I didn't realize the nakaduct was that thick, to be fair. But that is beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Huh. It is quite heavy. I mean, yeah, I guess when we made the Russell ones, I never had to design them. Dean did. Shout out Dean, it's a great design. And they were designed to be in a decent plastic PLA or whatever it was that we made the last ones in. So it had to be thick for that. We could probably make that a whole lot thinner. It is quite, I'm going to weigh it just for curiosity, but it's beautiful. And of course we have two. They are stunning. And this is 316 stainless. So it's just unbelievably good. How cool are they? Next we're moving into aluminium parts. So these are going to be our pegs. Yeah, the finish isn't as good as the stainless. It's kind of a rough finish. And I guess the cutouts I made for grips are not as big as I expected them to be. Because my initial thought was to have them wide enough so I could put O-rings on them. But they are definitely not going to be big enough for that. I'm going to have to re-look at the drawing to see what I did wrong, see if there's a manufacturing issue or if it's my design issue. It's probably going to be my design issue. So that is the pegs, and this is the toe parts, which, yeah, they're just lovely. They're beautiful. Okay, then we have all the mounts. Now, these are the pegs themselves. That's going to sit and rotate down there. We're going to have a little toe peg on that. And the top part is going to reach the gear linkage. Yeah, it's because I did smooth in all the holes and it's come out really nice. There's a bearing goes in here as well. So we will probably have to fettle that to get the bearing to fit. But yeah, a great little finish. Not quite sure what I'm going to do to complete these, whether I powder coat them or anodize them. I haven't figured that one out yet. These finally are the pegs. Oops. Beautiful. They're very cool. So this is the brake one. New master cylinder bolt here, and then this is the gear one. But yeah, it's an amazing, I mean, they're quite light. Quite an amazing finish. It's quite a rough finish, but everything's there. They're obviously strong enough. But, you know, for the cost, if you take the Nacaducts out of that, the cost of the peg set alone, I think, was around $300. So if you were going to go buy a set of rear sets online, you're going to be roughly the same price, right? So it's not a bad price. It's not a bad price at all. And it's exactly the design we need. So yeah, that is very cool. Very, very cool. So let's get some bearings in it, see what it does. So I've had a bit of time to live with these parts and understand or give you a better explanation of the pluses and the minuses. We can start with the stainless steel Nacaduct. Now, it's a lot thicker than I expected it to be, because that's what the model was. I mean, we used these on the bike last year in, I'll be lying to tell you what kind of plastic they were, but it was A plastic. In fact, that's not on the bike. So yeah, thinking about it, in hindsight, they are going to be a thick item, and these are heavy. I mean, 308 grams, it's a seriously dense piece of metal. But I can't fault it, I really can't. There's tiny bits of machining marks on the inside where you've seen, well, say machining marks, we've seen the run marks. But the quality of the logos on there, on both sides, it's just outstanding to get it that accurate. I really cannot fault it at all. It's amazing. Now, interesting enough, I mean, this Nacaduct, with the density it is, it was only $45, $47 or something like that. And the change between this and aluminium is marginal. It's less than 5% from stainless to aluminium. So depending what you were going to get, stainless might be the better option. Yeah, so stainless, definitely all the way amazed by it. The aluminium, there is some rough parts, but it's not as continuously smooth around the rounded edges that you would expect if you were going to, like, say, machine it. All the holes were undersized, which is not a bad thing. I did recheck the model because I thought maybe I undersized them on purpose, but no, they are up to 0.7 mil in some of the larger holes, undersized. So it's not a bad thing. It's easy enough to drill out. In fact, going forward, it's probably a good thing to keep everything undersized, so you can then have a perfectly smooth hole all the way through it. So that's not too bad. The ends here, they are not finished. They're quite visibly off square, quite badly. It's an easy enough for something like this. It's easy enough to clean up in the belt grinder, and also we're going to get extensions for these anyway because they're not too long. So that's not too much of an issue. In fact, now that I've said that, I've just remembered we're actually going to have something going over the top of that. I've just remembered why I made them like that, so my bad. But yeah, it's still an astounding quality. It really is. One of the parts in the pegs, in fact, the main peg and the gear peg, the reason they got these lines on them, I was always going to fit O-rings to them. And I thought maybe they'd just not machined them deep enough, but I checked the model and that was my bad. I just hadn't made deep enough grooves, because that's a solid piece of aluminium. So I will put that in the lathe and cut deeper grooves in it and put some rubber on there just so we get a tighter fit. But that's my bad, that's not machining. So, and also on the gear pegs where you've got really thin metal for the face of the bearing, you can see it's slightly indented on the inside. It's not bad. I mean, its job is to hold the bearing in place, which it does perfectly. And I had to take some material off of the Dremel to get the bearing in, but again, it's not the end of the world. So, will I 3D print metal parts again? Hell yes. Already have made an order with something else this morning based on what I found today, in aluminium actually. It's a brave new world out there. It's quite incredible of what is now physically at your fingertips achievable. So yeah, very impressed. Now these are pretty cool. It's quite incredible that you consider a computer, design something, send it away, and it comes back in metal. And affordable. I'm very, very impressed. A couple of things. The O-rings that I put on this peg, they're way too big. They're industrial heavy, I think probably like Viton 90. Very hard O-rings, where these are nice cheap ones, which I'll probably end up transferring over. It's just what I had lying around. So that side of the peg is good. This one, I've seen an issue. When I modeled it and designed this, it was not this Brembo Masters one, that was a shorter version, but I've got 3 lying around. Ooh. 4 lying around. I could steal one off the Suzuki, but looking at it, it's the same size. The end is different, it's longer, and it's actually clashing with the peg, but we can make another bracket. I can adjust that. That's not the end of the world either. Easy stuff. Very easy stuff. But yeah, it's very impressed. It's very cool. One thing I did notice, and because these are, which is becoming the norm on this bike, these spacers are made from old frame rails. If we find that the pegs are too close to the new engine mounts, we can just make these longer and we can space the thing out. My concern was that the pegs are going to be out a lot more than the original bike was, just to get around the engine. But that said, and this surprised me, where is it here? This is the original peg setup we had, with the original plate. It's painted red, so just so I can remember which one it went in. So you can see there's only small spacers on the side of it to give it the offset, but the peg itself's got an offset. So if I lay it against this here, and I just did this for the camera, and now I'm going to forget how I did it. Yeah, oh there we go. I'm going to set it like that. You can see that it's not actually that much difference in width at all. Okay, the actual physical peg's longer than this, but cut them down, it's not an issue. I was in my head, it was a good like 40 mil wider, but they're almost exactly the same. So if we do need to extend these by 5 mil, it's not the end of the world at all. We're not differing that much from the original setup whatsoever. So, and the pegs are designed so the mounts, I don't know, we've got the wrong side here. Completely the wrong side. In fact, we can do this one. They should be near as damn it the exact same place. Oh, of course, that's in a different place, so it doesn't work either. But the end peg with the position, I mean, this would be welded in a completely different place, is almost exactly the same datum point as it was before, because that's where I was comfortable before, so it makes sense to keep it all the same. I guess the next point is to tack weld these on the frame and see what they look like, see what clearance we've got. So a couple of issues putting these on. First one is our compressor pipe. Now this was shaped due to the fitment on the original bike, for the original chassis. It's just pure coincidence that it wraps around this bar here. That was not on purpose at all. But when we try and fit the pegs, it's in the way. Now that's fine because that's going to get cut off anyway, because the intercooler sits up here. There's no need for it to be way out in the wind here. So that will be cut back. I don't want to cut it back yet because I don't know exactly where it's going to be. But the second issue is going to be this, I think. Now, taking a measurement of where that air filter is going to be. So we'll put the turbo off and try it again to see if that's got clearance as well. And if that doesn't have clearance, well, I have another plan. So swinging around to the brake side, we have issues as well. This bar is a lot wider on this side, just for the position of the engine, because the engine has to be offset to the right slightly to pick up the sprocket. So this bar does go out, we knew that. But there is a bit of, well, it is touching. But as we know, we can space these pegs out and give it some space there. This isn't in its final place. It's not actually even tacked in place at the moment because we don't know where the wastegate's going to end up. So this is not in its final place. So all this can be arranged. But it's close, it's not too bad. I mean, if we do space it, we're talking 2 or 3 mil, it's not much. And then we'll have to fix the position of the master cylinder, but again, it's not a big issue. So yeah, I would call that a win at that side too. It's another win at this side. To get around this side of the bike, you've got to go past the beer fridge. And it's Friday night. Cheers. So back onto the gear side of the bike, and without the turbo, everything fits quite nice. Just, there's enough clearance in that bar there, and that is in a final resting place. So we now have a linkage, which is going to work. We are going to run let me think about this, a reverse shift on this, but I don't mind either way. I can run both. I've got some bikes in the stable which are reverse shift, and got some bikes which are normal shift, so for me that doesn't bother me. But it's a nice little setup, and the bearings give it a nice smooth action to change. Quite happy with that. But as we know, the air filter is going to get in the way, so using the same markings we did, air filter comes to here. Yeah, that's going to hit it. That's not going to be in a good place. Let me just grab it. So the air filter is going to be yeah, there, but 5 mil. You know what? Worst case scenario, we could probably just dent the top of the filter to make it work. It's not that far away, it really isn't. But yeah, I need about 25 mil that direction, to be completely honest. But we have a plan for that. So what's our plan, you ask? Well, the issue stems from this exhaust manifold. I know we've already modified it to suit, but it's still not in the right place where we want it. For our frame, the whole turbo unit is sitting about 25 mil too far to the left of the bike. And it's also sitting too close to the engine. We would prefer to have it maybe 25 to 50 mil back, and probably the same inside the bike. And to do that, we need a new manifold. Now, there's no way we can modify that flange to move that much. Now, the eagle-eye viewers amongst you are going to notice all these little dots all over the manifold, because yes, we have had this 3D scanned. The idea being is we're going to have a crack at this in stainless steel. We're going to try and 3D print it. Proof of concept has already been in the aqueducts, which have come out fantastic. So using the same technique, we're going to make an exhaust manifold and have this flange exactly where we want it. Not an easy task. I've been playing around with the CAD stuff for the last week. I think we're in version 6 and it's still not right, but we're learning. It's a learning process, teaching an old dog new tricks, etc., etc. But that is the plan, and that will sit everything where we want it. And the exhaust will stick out a bit more, but that's okay. That's fine. We do need to cut this flange off to line up with intercooler. There's no point doing that until we know where the final resting place of the turbo is. So that is our plan. The important thing for this video is the pegs are fitted. The pegs are working. We need to adjust the spacers on the right hand side one, but that's no big deal. Very, very impressed with how they came up with. Really impressed with this 3D printing work. Quite happy with it. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you learned something like I have. If you have, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel. There's a lot more stuff coming. For me, it's Friday night. So cheers, catch you in the next one.